Newcastle's most popular basketballer ever, Dave Ankeny, joins us this morning. Dave, welcome to the show. You're sporting a little bit of a black eye. What happened?
Yes, well, whoever said basketball's a non-contact sport obviously never played. And a few kids at school got me the other day after school and in a game of basketball and a bit of a headbutt. OK,
let's have a look at what happened in the National Basketball League last night, and we'll be back talking to Dave about these results. Westside defeated Newcastle, and that was Thursday night. North Melbourne 126 defeated Adelaide 116. Perth up against Hobart. Sydney 109 defeated Newcastle 79. That's a shellacking. Brisbane 121, Gold Coast 100, Rucker scoring 44 with 14 assists. Eastside 115, Adelaide 110, Canberra 114, Geelong 90. Let's have a look at the action between the Sydney Kings and the Newcastle Falcons.
Be looking to open it up for Michael Johnson if they can. Johnson is their scorer. Really, if you wanted to... Oh, as it opened up for Harvey. The reverse lay-in didn't go, though.
Oh, not getting the rebounds and not even looking at Bullock. That's a gift, 2 points. He couldn't put it away, but...
Ken Cole wouldn't be much happier about the way the Falcons have got underway.
No, comedy of errors, Mark, and no one's laughing.
Lazard, he misses as well. Morrissey now, coast to coast. Great block shot from Turner. Looking for Johnson, although Carfino did well to close up that passage. Bullock. Turner, excellent rebound. Tap the ball out, now Bullock. And a fine shot for three. Dalton with the rebound, Carfino now. Taking on Turner, the points will count.
Just knocked back the Falcons. Michael Johnson now drives across the top. Looks to Turner, inside Bullock. Tries a move on Ridlin. Doesn't go to the basket. This time he does. That's a very good move. Baseline. And left Mark Ridlin standing.
The Falcons have looked flustered in offence. Michael Johnson has had little chance to get shots away, and that time he turns the ball over to Moose Rebellion, who hands off brilliantly to Keogh. Looking for the cutters in the Dalton gang. Can't find either of them, and that's Rebellion. Bounce pass to Mark Dalton, who takes on Lazard. That was a very difficult attempt at a reverse lay-in. Bullock now on the charge. Pulls up for Johnson for three. Johnson hits his first points of the game. Carfino to Ridlin, space to shoot, thought about it and fired up. Now they slow it down. I thought they might. Things were getting just a little too quick for the way Sydney like to play it. Reverse lay-in doesn't go down for Morrissey. Second attempt, still no. Mark Dalton gets two. Played with the Falcons for 6 years. But now well and truly a Sydney King as they go further ahead as Ridlin slams.
Arms out.
Keogh for three. Johnson, speaking of cold, still can't score. And Johnson, who averages 32 points in this league, has just 8. Ridlin with a slam on the end of a fine offense by the Kings. That one too. Kruger and D'Ambrosis losing the handle on it, and Spaldenis goes for the slam, and he has hit the base of the basket really hard. The foul call against Kruger, and
an intentional one too, as we see. Trying to go for the slam. He held his face as he went down.
Possession here, no lining up.
Hits the base of the... There we go, we see him go high. Hits down low.
To Austin for three. Rebound by Lazard.
Keep the arms in.
Well, he tried to get rid of D'Ambrosis by just looking at it.
A little bit of intimidation there, and we see... Oh,
well, that was an illegal screen, definitely, by Kruger. Kruger getting a bit tough out there at the moment, unnecessarily. And Keogh and Kruger, a bit of push and shove. We really don't need this to go any further.
Hey, back off, back off. Back out here, back out here, back out here.
Well, I think really the initial foul against Kruger...
By the way, Greg, he's out of the game. And he should be leaving the court now.
That's right. Just go. He really did line Austin up with that one. Have a look here. You see you line him up and then just gives him a little bit of shoulder. Jody Austin, not a big man, really went to the canvas. And Damien Keogh came in and had a bit of a crack. He had a bit of a yarn to Kruger.
With just 2 seconds on the clock now. Counts down. Those points count to James Bullock, and that's a fitting finish to the game for him as he ends up with 28 points, but it has been a great performance.
Well, you watched that game last night. Both teams were ordinary.
Yes, Sydney started off very slow, and unfortunately Newcastle was a bit slower off the mark, and very poor first quarter, very low scoring.
They've got some real problems, the Falcons, though, haven't they?
Yes, at this stage, look at 1-7, and after the first 8 games, they're certainly looking uphill. A few positive signs. I think Peter Harvey and James Bullock played fairly well last night. However, the others look very flat, so Coach Cole certainly has to get the motivation book out this week and really work on the players because they're very flat.
There's a few of the players a little bit frustrated, Grant Kruger being one of those. He's already in trouble with the National Basketball League. He could land himself in some more hot water.
Yes, well, I'd like to see the players concentrate on the game. They're getting beat on the court, and they are getting a bit agitated, but I'd like to see them use that energy on the court rather than with the push and shoves.
Yeah. Let's just go back a little while to, say, a few years ago, where we had players like George Morrow and Scott Horrell and these sort of players. We've now got James Bullock, Greg Lazard. You were saying just before we came on here that you think Lazard's being played out of position in the offence.
In the offensive end, I think Greg's not a shooter, and he's done a lot of setting a lot of screens far from the basket. And personally, and I don't like to argue with coaches too much, being in that position of coach, it's easy to sit back and criticize, but I'd like to see him just stay down the low post because he's not a shooter and he's an excellent rebounder, and I'd be keeping him down there and saying, right, don't leave around the basket. I want you to get the ball and put it back up for 2. But all coaches have different ideas.
We mentioned those couple of players, Morrow in particular. Would they? And we're going to have a look at George in action here. There he is, the big fella, which he always used to chastise Lee for calling him the big fella. But would he survive in the National Basketball League these days? Would he still be the star that he was in those days?
Probably not the star that he may have been back then, but he would certainly hold his own. George was a great player. He was big, strong, and he had all the ball skills. He'd certainly be playing now if he was here in the league. Yeah,
obviously it has picked up in tempo. The recruitment thing is always going to be a dicey situation, getting the right player out from the United States, and I think we can't live without the couple of Americans in our teams. How would you go about the recruiting? Would you be a one-off situation, like to go to the States yourself and have a look at all the college teams, whatever, to pick your 2 players?
Well, something that I don't know if anyone else has done it, but I think I would go into some of the pro camps that are being held in September and October, and you get to see the players in action, number one, and you get to see if they're a legitimate 6'8" or 6'9", as we know a lot of them come out. Yes, a lot of them come out here and they're 2 or 3 inches shorter than what they're supposed to be. But I would like to go to the camps myself and have a look at the 30, 40 rookies trying out. Only one might make it, so you have another 29 to look at, and you get to see them competing for a pro job, so you sort of get to know a little bit about their ability on the court. Right.
Now, those particular kids that go to the rookie camp, now let's say, for instance, they don't make the cut. Now, they get cut and they go back to join other leagues. Are they going to be more expensive because they've made that initial draft than the players that are going around in college ball or other leagues now?
No. I think a lot of the players now that are out here in Australia actually tried out for the pro teams and eventually found their way out here. A lot of them have come out second or third round, so to speak. Whereas I think if you went over there straight away, you might get them out here and the first go. Yeah. And you might get a better quality player as well.
What about the European scene, which has increased in strength over the years? Could we make an assault on Europe, for instance, and look for the odd player or 2?
Well, you see in the NBA now, I think there's something like, in the States, there's something like 13 foreign-born players playing in the NBA, so that's certainly, there is scope for that, Mike. That's not a bad point at all. But I think with the cultural shock as it may be already, I think if you get someone with that speaks the lingo, speaks English, and it probably makes it a little bit easier for them to adjust to Australian way of life.
Well, Dave, we hope you don't take it out on the kids too hard the next week at school with the old black eye, get square treatment.
I'm looking forward to the rematch, actually.
Good on you. Thanks for joining us this morning, and hopefully we can see you at the basketball in the next few weeks.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Dave Ankeny talking basketball, and we'll be back with the Scottish FA Cup right after the break.